A very good evening to the Rotary Catalysing platform, and thank you very much for allowing me to express my views on the given topic. And thank you very much, Muthu and Dr. Rajendra Deshpande sir for taking this initiative and helping us also to give a platform and awareness about event management field. As you know that it has been said, doctors are badly exposed in this COVID-19 situation, and event managers are badly impacted. So this we are taking an opportunity of creating awareness and educating people about this particular wonderful field, where the liveliness is there and where the enjoyment is there, entertainment is there, academics is there, education is there, and whatnot. I'll be sharing a regular PPT one, but before starting a PPT, I would like to start with an incident which is I'm very much inspired by. In one of the seminar, I have heard these incidents. It was asked to Nelson Mandela, he was on almost 27 years in jail, and he was asked what you were doing. 27 years is a big span of life in the jail. So the answer was given by Dr. Nelson Mandela was, I was preparing myself to become president. So every lockdown and every situation all definitely gives you to boost yourself, to evaluate yourself, to introspect yourself, and we have also taken an opportunity of educating people. So my name is Rahul Bodhankar, and I am one of the designated director of Bodhankar Events LLP. We are into basically event management based at Aurangabad, Maharashtra, India, and having one office in Kandivali, East Mumbai as well. As an industry profession, so I believe in your business never grows unless and until you make yourself strong in academics and gaining more knowledge at the same time, and also sharing whatever knowledge you have along with you. So this is one of the great opportunity I'm taking, because I keep on inviting, keep on inviting by various institutions for delivering certain values, what I know personally about event management and other fields to the students. And this is one of the biggest platform at international level where I'll be sharing my knowledge and my ideas about particularly one segment about conferences effectively and successfully. So the topic is really a wonderful, and it's really a thought processing kind of thing. It's adding values in organizing conferences effectively and successful. Everyone knows, so India and entire the world is a hub of conferences. It's a large gathering. When it's conferences is basically a platform to learn some certain things in the particular fraternity and in that particular field. So when it comes to conference, so people comes there to gain knowledge, to share ideas, to exchange knowledge, and also to entertain and networking for them. So conferences is a wonderful networking platform, because human is known as it's a social element. He's a social animal, so he can't live without a society. So conferences is one of the platform where people can get interacted with, whether it may be any kind of conferences, gathering, and workshops kind of thing. So this is what. But as far as conferences are concerned, conferences are normally being participated by the professionals. When it professionals like doctors, advocates, chartered accountants, architects, these are like teachers and orators kind of thing. So these are the professionals who are having very hectic schedule, and to manage these conferences, they need something very deeply managed right from pin to play. So when it comes to conferences, so management is a byproduct, is that goes hand in hand. If a professional person who is an organizer of that conferences, then what he needs to do effectively and successfully for organizing the conferences, certain tips as an event manager I would like to share with you, so that you can get value out of it. I really beg your pardon, because this is my first international platform, because as of now I was speaking to the students, I was speaking to the colleagues, I was speaking to my office bearers and my partners. But some in fact one-to-one giving a sales presentation is a different thing, but giving a virtual platform, giving thoughts and sharing ideas with certain people is certain professionals that too from across the globe is a certainly different thing. So first of all, thank you very much for being here on time and accepted the invitation and allowing me to start my presentation. So first of all, before starting this particular concept, let's understand what event management is. So there are certain misconceptions about this particular wonderful field about event management. Some people consider event management as a caterer. Some people consider event management as a decorator. Some people consider event manager as an facility provider. Some people consider event management field is something like service provider kind of thing. But no, it's basically a management field, and it's 100% restricted to the manager. So when it comes to an event management, the name itself indicates that it's a management. So whatever needs to be managed, not to damage, that is an event management in a very simple word. So whatever needs but that particular conference needs to be done, right from setting up a target till location finalization, that is what is event management. Now, as far as event management field is concerned, there are so many activities are being conducted. If you can go roughly and if you can look into the same, then we can bifurcate this particular wonderful field into four major categories. One is a traditional event, another is the corporate events, third one is sports events, and fourth one is entertainment events. So in traditional events, right from wedding ceremony, right from weddings and everything, in corporate events, branding, launching, inaugurations, get-togethers, conferences, webinars, seminars, CMEs, and blah, blah, blah. There are so many things. In sports events, you must have attended IPL and other cricket matches and football matches and kabaddi matches and kind of thing. And entertainment, when it comes to entertainment, so Filmfare Awards, right from Filmfare Awards, so any cultural program can be considered under entertainment events. This is a very vague field. Even having a small Satyanarayan Puja at our home is also an event. So each and every aspect of our life is an event. The only thing is what event management part is, like maintaining that particular event decorum and making it joyful and making it colorful and making it enjoyable. So that is what is an event management field is all about. So once we know about what is an event management field, so let's understand who is an event manager. So event manager कौन होता है, so when as far as event manager is concerned, most of the people, there are certain baby boomers who keep on coming in this field because they don't have any option. This is one of the criteria. But as an event manager, so event manager is nothing but a consultant. He is basically a manager. He is basically a paid person. He is basically a consultant and a guide for you because he is having an experience in that field. Now, as far as conferences are concerned, conferences doesn't have any MRP of the elements served in the conferences. Like, for example, if you're hosting a conference, and for that conference, if you want to create a website, if you want to hire a caterer, if you want to hire a decorator, if you hire an audiovisual, if you want to hire a photographer, so there is no MRP or there is no price tag for these services which are included in the conference. There are 150 and more services. I am just naming few of them. So this particular this particular event doesn't have any MRP and doesn't have any price tag for that. Event manager will help you to guide in particularly what is currently trending in the market, what are the price tags where we need to focus on, and what are other aspects what we need to consider while hosting and while organizing the conference. So event manager is nothing but an advisor. He is an advisor. He is a paid advisor for you for making your event very successfully and flawless without any organizing without any stress kind of thing. So we can consider to understand it a better example is an architect. So there is a difference between architect and a builder. So architect is not having any kind of inventory and warehouse, whereas builder has an inventory and warehouse. But architect skill is basically to planning and execution is his USP, and getting you best of the best space utilization of whatever space you have. And you can definitely find out a difference between the house constructed by an architect and a house constructed by without an architect. So that is a difference in the conference when you are hiring, right? So first of all, we need to understand the role of an event manager. So if anyone is approaching as a service provider as an event manager, make sure that he is not an event manager. Now there are certain things what I am going to share with you and going to show with you is all about how to identify this particular thing and what kind of values to be added for organizing such large scale events as in conferences. So first of all, let us understand there are three major players as far as conference are concerned. First of all, conference is organized by a group of people. It's not an individual event. So wedding is an individual event, birthday is an individual event, but as far as conference is concerned, conferences is organized by a group of people. So consider a medical conference is there, a gynecologist conference is there. So that particular city association of gynecologists will organize a conference. Now, this committee people is one aspect, service provider is another aspect, and event manager is a different aspect. Now, there are three players are getting involved in the conference management of the entire conference. So, service provider and event manager, there is a thin line. So let's understand there are basically four major points. What I have been identified is service provider has an inventory, event manager has no inventory. Service provider has a manpower, event manager has a skilled manpower. Service provider has a warehouse or a godown, and event manager don't have any warehouse and a godown. His warehouse and godown is his head. Service provider can give a quotation, and event manager never gives a quotation. So this is a major difference while identifying and adding values to your conferences. First of all, identify the difference between these two major categories. The vendor or a service provider can give you a quotation like, this is my quotation for this particular event, but event manager will work with you on your range of budget in that particular conferences. What is the power of event manager is he's himself can stop even Amitabh Bachchan to come on the stage before time. So that kind of power an event manager has. Many professionals, right from the noble profession called as doctors, advocate, architect, chartered accountants, and like bureaucrats, people, they hire event manager because they don't have time kind of thing, and they believe that event manager can do wonders in as far as conferences are concerned. So let's come to the point is what is conferences. So when it, as I said, conference is a large gathering of the people who thinkers. It's a thinkers. So it has been said in one of the book which I normally read is Robert Kiyosaki's thinking is the most laborious process. So this is the thinkers get all together and they brainstorm themselves at a particular level of the conference. That is a large gathering of these thinkers, and any fraternity is called as conference, where they exchange knowledge, they exchange their ideas, and they gain knowledge, and basically they go back to their places and deliver this particular thing, whatever they have learned. As far as conferences are concerned, and as far as my knowledge is concerned, there are major two parts of the conference. One is a medical conference, another is a non-medical conference. Because as far as medical conference is concerned, medical doctors needs to attend yearly and bi-yearly conferences, monthly CMEs, continuous medical education, and certain workshops, because they need to be updated themselves for what's currently trending in their field. And there are speakers, international speakers, and their lectures, they keep on coming, and they're delivering smaller topics, thesis, and their presentations to the doctors. But it's not about only attending a conference. There is a whole lot of process involved in conference, right from taking their online registrations, offline registrations, till the delivery of the conference. Because while speaker is absolutely speaking, because we have keep an organizing, and there are certain surgical conferences as well, where we need to make a live transmission from operation theater to the auditorium. So in that case, the entire thing needs to be absolutely flawless. I keep on telling to my people, and I keep on telling to my students as well, so event are lifetime event of that particular person. There are no retakes. So in making a movie, there are retakes possible, but as far as the conferences management is concerned, there are no retakes. So we need to make sure that everything is live, and it has to be 100% foolproof, because it can happen, because people are there coming there just to listen to the people and getting that knowledge. So consider that one doctor coming from a rural area attending one ophthalmology conference in the city, and he's getting some new ideas about the retina therapy and going to implement back home in his rural area and village to the patients. So patients are getting, they are getting great treatment by the doctor who is available in the village. So this kind of contribution is doctors fraternity is already been doing. So we are just supporting this noble profession by conducting the conferences in a very decent way. Now, as far as, so first of all, when you are organizing, as a guest, I'm talking to you without hiring an event manager. If you want to organize any conference, you need to make sure that first of all, try to understand and get the difference between what kind of conferences you have and what kind of person you are hiring for that particular thing. As we know that मराठी में एक कहावत है कि घर पाहावं बांधून आणि लग्न पाहावं करून. सो घर बांध के देखो और शादी करके देखो. बोलने के लिए आसान होता है, वैसे इवेंट करके देखो ऐसा हम लोग लाइक नॉर्मली पीपल कीप ऑन थिंकिंग कि वो तो हो जाएगा, बट द थिंग इज when it comes to an execution kind of thing, so there is a whole lot of things are involved in event management. So that's why we, as a passionate event manager, we keep on enjoying. So currently we are absolutely missing those excitements and enjoyments on field, on ground. So as a layman, if you really want to conduct a conference very effectively, so first of all you need to start and make sure that there are 4 steps involved in the conference. First of all is all about the planning. Planning involves, there are a lot of things, right from finalizing the dates and right from finalizing the venues. So next slide will show you that how in advance you need to manage and you need to plan your event. So for that matter is planning has to be there. So right from, so first is all about finalizing the date, another is finalizing the venue, third one is making sure that your particular conference is online and available on internet for the online registration, so that maximum people can avail that benefit. Only creating website, only creating online registration doesn't help you. You need to promote that particular thing so that people can visit that website and people can register in the conferences. So for that promotion, you need to have a social media, you need to have a Google AdWord, you need to have a Facebook AdWord, you need to have a LinkedIn page, you need to have Twitter, Instagram, and FB and blah, blah, blah. So there are so many things when planning is concerned. So it's all about multiple requis to be done. The architects also needs to be hired for a smaller measurements needs to be taken, and allotment of the stalls, allotments of the theories and the speeches where they are happening, making sure that even like what is called is micro planning. When you are making a recce of that particular hall, making sure that the height of the backdrop to be suited for installing the LED wall as well. Most of the time, what happens is we just have a look, we do not take a background, and the day before we come to know that the background, the backdrop, whatever is being created, it has a 10 feet extra height or 2 feet extra height or 2 feet less, like 2 feet lesser height. So the smaller things, what needs to be taken. So as a professional event manager, I normally recommend that focus on smaller things that rather than a bigger things, because smaller things cannot be altered. Bigger things can be altered and can be seen very easily, but smaller things can't be seen. Like in our Indian culture, we have a lightning lamp activity before starting any event. So like before lightning lamp, if you forget to have a small 50 paisa machis, so that's going to spoil your entire conference. So planning needs to have a proper checklist, and planning needs to have meticulous activities and elements involved in the same. As far as management is concerned, you need to make sure that you have excellent manpower and excellent dedication of that particular department. In my experience, whenever the conference happens, normally the entire responsibility comes to president, secretary, and chairman and treasurer. That's all. Rest of the people, they keep on enjoying being as an honorary part of that particular committee. Any association, they keep on making committees like cultural committee, catering committee, transport committee, reception committee, registration committee. But when it comes to committee coordination, so everybody just jumped on 1 week before the conference and then the rest of the entire scenario. So who is working is president, secretary, treasurer. These are the 3 people are working. So if you are not hiring any event manager, so make sure that your involvement of the entire committees are in a so proper way so that entire management can be completed with a flawless. Like right from, because although you are creating the committee, but committee is not going to sit on ID card counter to give a ID cards to the delegates. You need to make sure that having a good association with any college so that you can hire those students. Now, what happens with the students? Like we have an experience of this. The students goes all time all together to the lunch. All 20 students goes for a lunch and nobody at a registration counter. So at that time, you need to have a meticulous planning of like shift wise sending to them in particular lunch, so that 2 students will go and students can come back. Same in the auditorium at the same time, making sure that everybody is being, because in auditorium when speaker is coming to deliver his topic, you definitely need to facilitate the speaker. So keeping the mementos, shawl, shrifer, and whatever the things are there. So we need to make sure that logistics will be properly taken care in the management aspect. Third and very important and most important thing is negotiations. as I said earlier, I bet on it like, so there is absolutely no MRP or no price tag in any of the element in conferences are, like concerned. If you want to give a delegate kit as a gift to someone who has participants, like normally in India, we have a trend of giving a sack bag or a duffel trolley bag or any kind of bag to carry certain things. So that bag also doesn't have any MRP. That also doesn't have any kind of price tag on that particular material. So you name the element, you name the service, it doesn't have any MRP. And here, the vendors and the service providers are taking an undue advantage of quoting at a higher level and negotiating just for the namesake. So I'll give you one example. Once I was just moving around in Delhi in Palika Bazaar, and I one pant, I liked it, and I asked him what is the cost of that pant, and he said 4,000 rupees. And already, my one of my friend from Delhi, he told me that whatever amount is being told at Palika Bazaar, you negotiate right from removing 1 0. So I started negotiating like मेरे को 400 रुपए में दे दो. And he said नहीं सर 4,000 का 400 में कैसे देंगे, मैं आपको 3,000 में देता हूँ. I said चलो 500. Then he said नहीं मैं 2,500 में देता हूँ. I said 600. And he said no अभी एक काम करो आपका नहीं मेरा नहीं 1,000 रुपए में दे दो. Then I took it at 700. So he quoted at 4,000 rupees. So as a human, we have a mentality of negotiating to 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%. So if 4,000 rupees ka 50% bhi negotiate karunga, so that comes to 2,000 rupees, but not at 700 rupees. The same kind of scenario in event industry and the conference industry as well. The people will quote normally at a higher side, but you should be aware of what are currently trends in the market and at what rate we need to have this particular thing. Because there is a major aspect of conference, as I said, conference is being organized by the group of people. It's not an individual game. Once it's a group of people, so there are fishy things happens if you hire someone at a higher rate, because your intention may not be absolutely very clear to have a best of the best vendor. But after the conference, when audit happens, we have seen people are fighting with each other. अरे ये चीज तो इतने रुपए में मिल रही थी. At least you would have told to me. I would have arranged it at a very lower rate. Because as there is no MRP, so photographer, if he is a patient of one doctor, so he can say that sir मैं आपको complimentary मेरी तरफ से देता हूँ. So there are a lot of possibilities of negotiation. So negotiation skills needs to be completely availed, and you need to be aware of the market trends, what is currently available in the market. So for that, we need to completely keep having 100% Reiki of market data. What are the best trends available? Who are the best vendors? Who are the best profile? What are their best profiles and what are their best costs? Another important thing as far as negotiations is concerned, money is not the only criteria, or rate is not the only criteria while finalizing the vendor in major conferences. His profile is also one of the major criteria while serving the conference, because consider the caterer is there, and one caterer in Indian currency is charging around 700 rupees for a mixed veg non-veg food, and someone comes and he says that I will give you 500 rupees. You cannot trust him for even 500 rupees as well, because you need to make sure that what are his crisis management ability needs to be understood first of all. That is what is the important aspect. If our number of delegates rises from 1,000 to 1,200, is he able to manage 200 people at one time? That also we need to see. We need to make sure that what are the incompetence and whatever the criteria he's having. So negotiations is not about only money and not about only amounts. It's all about the kind of profile what a service provider and a vendor has, and the kind of prices what he is basically supposed to give us. And finally, an execution. So execution is a byproduct. Normally, I keep on telling, nobody goes in swimming pool just to get wet. They goes in a swimming pool for swimming, and getting wet is a byproduct. So if your planning, management, and negotiations is perfect, then execution has to be a flawless. If there is a loophole in the execution, then it clearly indicates that your planning has planning has some issues where it has not happened meticulous. So execution, again, it's something like where we need to be 100% in advance. As Dr. Sonali came earlier and we were discussing, is all about time punctuality. So this industry is all about timing, because we cannot create, there are no retakes. So as conference is concerned, the person can wait for a second, he can wait for a 5 seconds or 10 seconds, but not for some minutes kind of thing. So if food is not available on time, then the entire conference goes for a toss. So even a smaller single mistake can spoil the 2 crore, 5 crore conference just because of smaller mistake of and loophole in the planning and execution. So execution. So normally, what we suggest as an event manager is to have a dry run a day before of at least the things which needs to be considered. Like when it's a medical conferences, so OT is properly running, the power supply normally nobody checks, the generator diesel capacity nobody checks, the load shedding schedule is there or not, the operation theater gets open at what time nobody checks. So when we as an event manager should make sure that we get the contact number of the operation theater attendant, we get the number of his wife, we get the number of his kids, we make sure that he is on time because there are certain things which needs to be made at least. So what is basically an organizer role is, to be there at least 1 hour before and go home after 1 hour. So that is what is the role. So if the conference is for 10 hours, then the organizer needs to be there for 12 hours, 1 hour before and 1 hour later the conference. So 12 hour ka uska shift, and after that the next day again he needs to come back because any conference actually approximately for 3 to 4 days. So that at same time we need to make sure that this execution loophole should not be there while creating the proper and minute planning. Uh, when after this planning an entire thing, so on ground there are 3 steps of managing and organizing conference very effectively. First is all about pre-conference, during conference, and post-conference. Now, as I said that the conference is being organized by the bunch of people. So this bunch of people are very much excited when they get a bid of this conference, and pre-conference work absolutely goes with a fantastic enthusiasm. After that, during conferences, because people are very much excited and that is their lifetime event, once in their lifetime may be happening, so people are also excited at the same time. When it comes to post conferences, that is the most neglected area where we need to be focused on as an organizer, because everybody is focusing and ready to work before the conference and during the conference, because there is a lot of creativity is involved. After the conference, there is zero creativity and work is involved. So people are now trying to run away from the post-event activities. Like there are a lot of post-event activities what needs to be considered. First of all, we need to make the payments as agreed to the vendors and service providers and the managers of the event once it's completed. Another thing is, while making a payment, we need to have detailed reporting of each and everything which has been completed. Like for example, if you have booked 100 rooms or 200 rooms, how many rooms have been completely occupied? What are the check-in, check-out times? How many people came? How many people didn't came? How many rooms left blank? How many rooms, like retention, what we need to pay, we need to negotiate. Accordingly, we need to count the plates of the catering services as well. So what was the plate count at the breakfast, lunch, high tea, dinner? What was the liquor count? What was the photography count? What was the delegate count? What was the card count? What was the scribbling pad and pen count? So there are a lot of things what we need to compile the entire reporting before concluding that particular event. Again, when it comes to conference, mind it, it is basically organized as a group of people. So you are answerable as an organizer to everyone because there is monetary benefits are involved. So as far as these particular post conferences are concerned, if you can finish that particular work within 1 week or 15 days, then nothing like it. But if at all you an organizer are basically getting confused and getting procrastinated this particular post conference activity, then it will be a hell kind of anything. Like after 2-3 months, the chartered accountant will ask you what this payment you made against what, and you absolutely forgot, because your daily routine captures you very badly. Because in the conference you are getting involved in the pre-conference, you are getting involved in the during conference, so almost 8 to 10 days you have suffered from your profession. And once you have suffered from the profession, then immediately you come back post-event activities, and it's been very difficult of remembering the things which has been agreed upon and delivering those to the accounting people and giving the final audit report. So as an organizing, make sure that pre-conference, during conference is वो तो होना ही है, उसी के लिए तो हम लोग organizer है. But make sure that the post-conference has to be meticulously planned within 15 days immediately after the conference, so that you will be able to conclude the financials of that particular aspect and clear the title. And audit report is being submitted to the authorities where it needs to be submitted. These are certain things what we need to consider as a step of managing the conferences. Now, when it is a conference, then what is the best? Am I going too fast or okay? Speed is okay if everyone is. So I just, can you just, someone?
Yeah, it's okay, sir. Go ahead, sir. You're perfectly well.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So,
Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
And I hope that it's going well also. It's not getting bored.
It's good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Now, coming to the point of time to start the conferences. So there are two types of conferences. One is an established conference. Another is non-established conference. Now, what is an established conference? Established conference means they have a track record of last 10 years of having every year conference. Like, for example, ophthalmology, like, for example, gynecology, for example, surgery, Maharashtra State Surgical Association, Madhya Pradesh State Surgical Association, Orissa State Surgical Association. So these states are having round of every year. We keep on having conference that is known as an established conference. So this established conference work needs to be start at least 15 months before. Now you must be saying like 15 months before what we are going through. So for example, October 2020, Orissa State Surgical Conference is happening in October 2020, and next it's in Bhubaneswar, and next year 2021 it is in Puri. So Puri Organizing Committee needs to generate registrations in Bhubaneswar conference. So for generating registration in Bhubaneswar conference, they need to be ready with website, they need to be ready with bank account, they need to be ready with GST number, they need to be ready with stationery, printing, receipt books and everything. They need to be ready with their website, they need to be ready with their payment portals and everything. So this is what 15 months before, so almost they need to start working around June or July 2020 to get that particular early bird registrations. And even the most important thing in conference is all about the sponsors. So they can get a better data in the Bhubaneswar conference for managing the Puri conference next year. Because Bhubaneswar conference sponsors likely to get the repeated sponsors for the next year conference as well. So you can have a better deal of at least booking with a token amount of 10,000, 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, collecting at the same time, giving them receipts. So you should have everything ready meticulously. Once the Bhubaneswar conference is open and you have some sufficient funds in your hand, then you can start giving token amount to the vendors and finalizing service providers with the help of event manager or with the help of your organizing committee. So by this way, the established conference at least to start at least 15 months before. Another benefit of 15 months before is you can get a better deal for the hotels, accommodation and the venue deal at the same time. Because any commercial venue and any commercial hotel needs to have a good business in early advance. So if you are asking them, so because every hotel has a policy of changing their rates every year. So you can get those 2020 rates, while if you're booking them in 2020, you can get the 2020 rates in 2021. So that is another benefit if you are starting managing and planning for the conference in 15 months before. As far as not established conference, like some fraternity or some community or some group of thinkers start to initiate the conference this year, like this may be the first year, then you need to start at least 12 months before so that you can have a sufficient time of getting the registration on time, getting the sponsors also on time, and you are in very first year you will come to know what is the actually reply and response for that particular event. So next year event. So if you are organizing first time in this 2020, so next time 2021 you can immediately announce that conference in this conference, like next year so and so date is and so city the conference will happen, and after that it becomes an established conference. There are certain things what we need to consider as a legal aspect, because again it's a group of people are organizing at the same time. So organizers are answerable to everyone. There are possibilities of having good understanding. People may not ask, but people gossips most of the time with the organizing committee. They may not talk to upfront, but they keep on gossiping. But this is an organizing chairman, this is an organizing secretary. What happens with the accounts? It would have been more or less if I would have been organizing. There are so many things. So if you are a dynamic organizing secretary and dominating, then people won't talk on your face, but people will have a backbiting at the same time. So making sure that there are certain legal aspects, like you need to have a meticulous contract to be prepared. In this COVID situation, what we normally recommend is to implement a force major activity in the contract. Like advance may not be refundable, but that will be adjustable in coming date if lockdown again happens and government restrictions keep on imposing this a particular event. So whatever the next date will be there, so same rates will be applicable in the next that particular date. So these kind of agreements, what we need to be prepared before moving further. Again, if you want to have a short life for that particular event, then contract may be according to mutual understanding. But if you want to have a long life, then you need to have a very meticulous contract. Permissions are very crucial aspects because as far as medical and non-medical conference is concerned, there are certain permissions what we need to take. If any foreign faculty is coming abroad, then they need to take a permission from foreign external minister affairs of so that they need to have make sure that their visa accordingly stamped. Licenses, there are so many licenses what we need to participate. Basically, first and foremost is a liquor license, that is the club license. Another thing we need to be Novex license is an entertainment. PPL is a public performance license, and IPRS licenses. There are 3-4 licenses are to be obtained while conducting a conferences. So this particular, because as far as legality is concerned and as far as compliances are concerned, hotels, especially group of hotels are very strict about their compliances. So we should be aware of the licenses. Online payments, website, TDS and GST is very crucial because once the GST is being imposed, so every month, 20th of every month, you need to file a GST return, and every 7th of every month, you need to file a TDS. So make sure that this is being properly taken care of, having a clear title with you. So these are certain legal and accounting aspects what we need to consider. Now there are last 3-4 slides what we need. So points to be considered while making any contract. So make sure that, as I said, that profile of vendor or manager is very important. Cost is not important as far as these conferences and social and large events are concerned. Ability of performances on crisis management. That is the biggest aspect what we need to make sure. As I said, as a caterer, we need to make sure that as a decorator, as a delegate kit provider, as a photographer as well, whether he is able to perform in the crisis management, because there are certain natural calamities may happen. In the month of December in India, nobody assumes and nobody, in fact, imagine the rain comes, but even rain comes, then what can be and plan B? That also needs to be considered while preparing the contract with them. So 2 things what I learned in this profession is, normally I ask about the failures to the vendors and the service provider than a success. Because success everybody tells. I ask them, wow, in what event you got a failure? So can you share the story for the same? So that particular failure can help in 2 ways. One is, this might happen to us, and another is how he managed effectively in that failure. That we got to know. Another thing is, ask them what cannot be done rather than what can be done. So this is again a very twisting question what normally I ask. क्या क्या नहीं करना चाहिए rather than क्या क्या करना चाहिए. So to save the cost and to save certain things. Like for example, if you are erecting an Octonom stalls, you must have seen in exhibition there are certain stalls being placed for the shop owners or company owners. Those panels are known as Octonom panels. So what to do with Octonom panel? So can we have a shared Octonom panel or not without shared Octonom panel? So we can ask him. So we got to know his intention of charging less or charging more, because as far as vendors and service providers are concerned, their major interest is the things which are getting increased after the conferences. So they will have a very decent contract with you before the conferences, and once you say after the conferences, when the bill comes to you, then you could see that there are 100 chairs being placed in the banquet because people were standing. There are 2-3 stalls being erected because people were fighting. So these are certain things normally, and mostly they have their interest in some extra wagons and extraordinary extra bill banta hai. So that is what is their things what we need to be taken care. And by this particular question, we understand the intention of that particular vendor and the service provider, where we can save the cost and where we cannot. And making sure that the agency you are hiring, he is 100% taxpayer and registered under all government compliances. Because if something goes wrong and if you need to fight something against in a legal matter, then you need to make sure that he is a 100% taxpayer person and registered under government compliances. Another thing I have not mentioned, and in fact I forgot to mention, is make sure that your event and your conference is fully insured. there are certain agencies and insurance companies who are providing the event insurance kind of thing, where you get a death insurance, life insurance, and at the same time accidental insurance also. So these are the major points to be considered while serving and while organizing the conferences. There are two kind of opportunities in this field. One is a job opportunity, another is the career opportunity as an entrepreneur. So we are going to look at two opportunities in this field. So 85% unskilled manpower is working in this field. It's a huge ratio. So only 15% skilled manpower is working in this field, because 85% they are coming in this field because they don't have any option to work on. Another thing is they get one-time food. That is also one of the criteria when people working in this industry. 100% performance based. So there are no reservations. यहाँ पे काम show this particular thing and get your perks done. So work hard, party hard kind of thing concepts are here. Never ever gets affected with any situation. Now this exceptional, unprecedented COVID situation, I request do not consider this situation. But whenever there is a huge market depress, whenever there is a recession, whenever there is a slowdown, this industry never ever affects. Conferences are bound to happen, events are bound to happen. There may be a possibility of lesser people can invite it, but events are going to happen. Growing at unprecedented rate. So currently the industry is growing around 25% per annum. This is what is the growth rate. As far as weddings are concerned, 1 crore wedding happens every year in India, and Turkey is one of the best chosen destination for the weddings. The most easy job gets in this industry. So you apply and you get a job. So there is no something like, you need to go with a strict tunnel kind of thing while in the selection process. So a huge opportunity of 85% available in this industry. As a career opportunity as an entrepreneur, so 70% entrepreneurs are basically driven by the opportunities considered in this industry. But there are 3 points what I have mentioned. According to me, what I have noted down is the only thing needs to be an entrepreneur in this industry is to be an entrepreneur. So this has to be in the blood. So if you want to have an entrepreneurship qualities, then you have to be an entrepreneur. So there is no another qualities required. The industry needs transparency, education, and 100% dedication in this industry, and 1,000 days of work experience, and welcome to the entrepreneur world in the event industry. So 1,000 days if you're working with any agency, and after that you're most welcome to be an entrepreneur in this industry. That's all from my side. There are so many things to talk on this because this is my topic of my passion. So I can keep on talking for a day altogether. But somewhere we need to take a pause and somewhere we need to take a stop. So I would like to answer the questions if anyone has, so that it will be done.
Rahul, I enjoyed the presentation. It was really good. Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing is like, so is there any particular, like, when you do the calculation, is it different for Mumbai, and is it like, for metro cities that you do a different calculation, and for like, grade 2 cities, you do a different calculation, or is it the overall calculation is the same?
See, as far as conference field is concerned, the overall calculation are the same except the commercials.
Okay,
because as far as event management field is concerned, so there is no geographical boundaries. So the event manager can go anywhere and he can work. Like architect can go anywhere and he can work. Doctor can go anywhere, he can do surgery. So it has, basically as a conference organizer, city does it definitely matters because the commercials get involved, because the kind of food plate rate and the kind of banquet rate you get in Mumbai, you get in Delhi, and you get it in Indore is totally different.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone has any question?
What is the minimum cost for conducting any type of events, like minimum cost? Do we have something like a range?
It's a good question, Dr. Sonali, but basically, as you're going in a sari shop, you need to tell a range. Sari wala can't tell you a range. So he has he is open with a shop, like 100 rupees se leke 5 lakh tak he has sarees available with him. So you need to tell him that I want a saree in this particular range, and he will make you available. So any event has absolutely there is no cost. So you need to be very clear that I am going to spend XYZ amount. This is my range. Like one small example I'd like to give you to more elaborate this concept. If at all we want to go for a dinner in any of the hotel in our city, then we check our pocket first, how much money I have, and accordingly we select that restaurant. So event is just like the same. So you know your budget, and accordingly you select where to do it. You can do it in a 5-star hotel. You can do it in a banquet hall. You can do it just opposite, putting a pendant at your residence and complete that particular ceremony.
Now, I'm asking from your point of view as an organizer, as an event manager.
As an event manager,
what is the minimum? Like, let me put it another way. How much amount do you entertain? Like, you say yes to it. That below that threshold, you must be having a threshold. That below that, I'm not available.
Okay. So the threshold is something like for known people is zero, from zero onwards, and to unknown people it starts from 5 lakh rupees onwards. So it depends again what kind of event we are organizing. So that is again a relative term. So that depends on the relations, and that depends on the future business which is we are expecting from that particular client. So if Rajendra Deshpande sir will ask me to host an event, I probably I'll do it with no money.
Then I'll come through him, sir.
Always welcome.
No, and for Sonaliji, I'll take the responsibility because she'll pay in Turkish dollars, and I'll take the responsibility to collect it from her.
Certainly, because I know that you are the people are, certainly there will be a huge response after serving your event again.
No, we know how to claim it from Sonaliji, so we'll do it. Because her pocket is always full. She's got 4 bank accounts.
Great. That was a nice question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for clarification.
I would like to give you one small link here. So I'm requesting everyone to please leave your reviews for this presentation. I'll be happy in the chat box. Just a minute.
Rahul, there's a question.
There is a question.
No. I'm just one second. Just one second. Milinji has asked you a question. For the organization like education institutions, there's a huge manpower available. Is it useful, or is it better to organize with separate state as event management?
Okay, Milinji, first of all, thank you very much. This is a very routine and very important question normally been asked by any organizer. So not as a business person in this industry, I will guide you, but I will definitely tell you should go for hiring an event manager. The reason is basically you may be having an huge staff and huge manpower available, but those are not skilled. Those are not experienced in that. Another thing is, as a human mentality, people has a reason always ready. Okay, I was working for that event for 2 hours, so I could not produce the result what is expected. Another is your departmental productivity may hamper in this entire event, because event is not a single day execution. It has a long-term process of at least managing and planning since 6 to 8 months and 10 months before that particular event. So many of the hospitals also ask us if we have a good and huge manpower. So why don't you utilize that manpower? So this manpower is first of all unskilled. Another thing is, if a person is working in accounts and if you are asking him to get into the event and manage the stage show, the accounting vouchers will be pending, and he has a very valid reason. Sir, I was engaged in that event, so I could not prepare this particular accounting voucher. I'm just giving an example. So there are multiple departmental people. If you'll keep on involving, they will keep on giving you the reasons at the same time. So make sure that if you can hire, so it's very simple. You can build your own house by hiring a person as a contractor. But if you'll give it to architect, so architect will make sure that your house is properly being built along with the proper utilization of the space. I hope you got the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, he just thank you, because he's having some problem with his network.
Facebook sent. Okay, okay. Okay, Muthu, I think it's over and everyone must have enjoyed the. I'm available in the group as well and available on the link as well. So certainly I'll be solving your queries whatever you have.
Sure. Sure, Rahul. We are always with you.
You have given a link for the next event, the virtual one. Do we have any password for it?
No, no,
Or
it's a free of
with
password.
the ID is okay?
It's
Yeah,
a
only login ID is enough.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
It's
ma'am.
Zoom,
I would like to
Zoom
have you
session,
that.
right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Thank you.
It's great
Thank you.
to
everybody.
hear from you.
Anyone
after
wants
a
to
long
ask any
time.
questions? Anyone wants to ask Rahul any questions? You can just go ahead.
Anybody, any questions, See now, this is almost 12th or 13th webinar we are conducting under the platform of Rotary and Business Value India. Business Value India is a specially formed organization for the purpose of promoting small and medium businesses in all the sectors. We have a specific strategy and management techniques developed for small companies, and this is in association with a USA organization. And last 1 year this is a original research product of myself and my associates in USA. For last 5 years we have been researching on this, and I'm very thankful to give you and present you a very unique and highly successful product with this. And it is applicable. Why we are conducting in variety of webinars in variety of topic? Because this technique is applicable for everybody. Even for last 1 year we have developed a product for a MBA student, how to develop his career with business value development techniques, how to develop an engineering student. Everybody will need this with the changing in times and changing, because whatever the conventional perspective and conventional educations are there is nothing good or bad about it, but it needs a change and a different perspective. That is why we are develop this and offering these techniques. The batches that I am conducting right now are extremely happy with what I am talking to them and what techniques I am giving to them. Thank you, Rahul.
So thank you very much, and I hope that I have delivered as per the expectation of the group.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yes, we enjoyed it, Rahul.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Milind, do you want to have any comments? Milind Deshpande?
No, he's already asked a question, sir.
Already asked the question.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
Okay.
Because he had some network problem, so he just typed it and sent it to me.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Sonali madam, any question?
She had problem of transferring her money, so I told her I'll do it for her.
Okay. Great. No problem. We are there to assist you. And even if you have problems, I have a friend in Turkey. I have a business associate in Turkey. You can hand over the money to him. No problem.
I should know him first before I
Yes.
hand over a person.
Yes. You will be given his identity and everything. No problem.
Sir, she knows you and me well, sir. So she's saying that she'll give it to us directly.
Okay. Welcome, Hemant Barwe. How are you?
Sir. I am fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, Hemant. How are you, Hemant?
Muthu, sir, thank you. I'm well now, taking the treatment, and I have changed my specs according to the new numbers of my eyes now.
Okay.
And trying my best to get cured very soon.
Okay.
I really thankful to you, all the team, all the members of our group. Only because of your prayers and good wishes, I'm getting cured from these problems.
Hemant, the reason why I removed you from educators group was because I didn't want you to strain your eyes and read it. And I'll be adding you back in today. Don't worry. Because you got a new glasses.
Yes.
Okay, no issues.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Any comments, Rahul?
No, sir. From my side, it was fantastic experience.
And see, now since Muthu is here and all, be in the group, be active in the group, and whatever webinars we are organizing, you look through this as a event management perspective. Keep pointing out the errors, and or not errors, but how it can go to the next level through that perspective, and it will help all of us. And as I had in the beginning of this today's webinar, I had told that design a module, 3 months module, 2 months module with practicals to be given to the student. And as you know, major economists and management experts have said that the first to come back is tourism and event management industry. It will be the first affected, but first to revert back will be this industry. So
Yes,
all the positive effects will first come in this industry.
yes, 100%. Very true.
Because the people are now so fed up sitting at home, the first thing they'll do is get out of the house
Yes.
and enjoy their life abroad. Outside, you know?
And we are making ourselves ready for the same.
Yes. Great. Great.
Thank you very much, Bharat Chopde ji. So he was our Rotary Aurangabad Central President last year, and thank you very much for attending this.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Rahul. It's very
And induct him in this group.
nice.
Chopra sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hello.
Sir, go ahead, sir. He has got some connection errors. Sir, can we add you into our group of?
Yes, no problem, sir.
Please, sir, please just send in your message in the message box. Sir. I'll add you in today, sir.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I would like to introduce my wife is there, Sharwari Deshpande sir. So
Welcome. And I had welcome.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar. Welcome.
Welcome, ma'am.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
I think you are the pillar behind him.
yes, of course.
Backbone and pillar both.
Sir, pillar cannot stand without a backbone, sir.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Behind every successful man, there is a woman behind.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this felicitation. But then also, I am really happy to have you all here and have been listening this presentation very much calmly and very giving very importance for this. And Rahul, I would like to tell you that you were fabulous during this presentation. Good luck.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Is it over? Can we leave? Rajendra sir, I'm looking forward that event program to be organized very soon.
Oh yes. We will now with you with us. I have a plan. I will announce it here. I have a plan to organize a HR conclave, sales management conclave, sales and marketing conclave, big conclaves on this platform.
Sir, we can take him to our MBA students, sir.
Yes, definitely.
We can have a section because I've got 3 or 4 colleges arranged for FMCG. We can take him there, sir.
Oh yes. You organize my sales technique program for them.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. So now we are getting ready for DG installation.
Thank you.
Virtual DG installation.
All the best.
Thanks. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, all the best for your event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just logging out, everybody.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.